All right, guys, Thursday, video time. Not gonna waste any time going into this one because I'll be honest with you, last week's video, a little slow. If you missed it, still watch it. You get a lot of good information about the engine. But now that the engine's in the frame, here's what we're gonna talk about this week. The biggest issue I found when trying to deal with small block Ford stuff, especially in any kind of truck, was headers. I couldn't find decent size 1 7/8 primary headers that went into a 3-inch collector to save my life. And I know you can use the car ones. That's what I attempted to do here. I actually attempted to do it multiple times. I briefly touched on that within this video. And it was just a complete disaster. They either interfered with the spark plugs, they hung too low, they ran into the oil pan, they ran into the bell housing, they ran into the engine block. I don't understand why these companies can't get headers right. So if you're going to run into that, you're a little apprehensive about what headers to use, anything like that, I think this is going to be a great video to show you that even though I use very expensive headers, not by choice, to cut up and modify, I think you should feel pretty confident that if you can at least half-ass weld, then you can do exactly what I did in this video. And I'm even going to tell you where I got my material. Hint, hint, it ain't something you haven't used to buy stuff before. That's all I'll say about that. Without further ado, let's get into this week's video, ladies and gentlemen. Last time, we got the engine in with the transmission, the real engine. We kind of talked about some of that stuff. By the way, if you have any questions about it, as always, leave a comment down below. And by the way, let me know how this microphone sounds today. In my never-ending quest for optimal audio quality, sounding better. I'm trying something different today. I think today's project, because I'm really low on welding gas, and it is a Sunday, so I can't go get more, is I want to work on the headers, because nobody makes a header for this purpose. This is the third set I've tried. Well, the original set I've tried 3 sets, including these. This is the most likely to be manageable, and also the only ones that I couldn't return. So go figure. Also the most expensive by double. And then the main issue with this one, actually, and I can't really get it on camera, but I have this oil pan that comes out because it's I think it's a 7.5 quart Canton racing pan. So I've got like all kinds of trap doors and stuff in here to help with oil control without going dry sump yet. Which tube is that? Cylinder number, this one. All the others are basically against the head. This is as far as it goes. So we're about a quarter, maybe even a 3/8 of an inch off. This one fits terribly, and that's because cylinder number 4 here dips way in by the starter. So the biggest issue is it has massive contact with the oil pan. So what I'm going to do is, rather than where it dips in and on the bottom, because it hooks left, I'm going to cut it and rotate it to where it hooks a little to the right. And this gap is huge. I can fit my arm in there, which is way larger than these 1 7/8 primaries. I'm going to rotate that to where it comes up here, and I'm going to cut this and rotate it to where it shoots right through that gap. And that'll just be above our front suspension crossmember pieces, and it should keep us well clear, and that'll give us a ton of room to the starter, which keeping those cool is always important. It pretty well fits. It's just slightly off, and that's because it's being kicked out by that primary tube going down there. So these are also a slip fit collector. Once I get everything tacked in place, I can actually slip that out of the collector and kind of snake it up out of there and fully weld it off of the engine, or outside the other tubes. So I should be able to get it tigged up really nice. Let's get to work. Alright, so here's a better look at what we're working with. So first we're going to cut it here, because this is going to have to be rotated this way. And then we're going to have to cut this here, because this is moving. So we're going to end up cutting again here, but we don't know where yet. And then we're going to cut right here at the bend, maybe a little bit back from it actually, so we can rotate this around. So what we're doing is staying away from the bend. You don't want to weld on that because the tubing is not as perfectly round, so you're not going to get as good of a meetup when you TIG weld it. So that's why we could probably get away with this, but we don't want to be that close. We'll just do it back here, and that'll be a little more straightforward. This is just getting excessive on the amount of time I'm recording this. You kind of get what I'm going for here. I actually had to do a little extra cutting more than I thought, but different tube routing actually looks more favorable. We've got miles of room between the frame and the header. That's great. So yeah, I'm just gonna snake it down around the outside, but you guys kind of get the point, so we'll get back together. I'm just play with the tubes a little bit more, make a couple more cuts, kind of get it settled in, but you get the process now. You just kind of have to hold them up there and play with it. If you're not good at geometry, this probably isn't the process for you. There's companies that make, I know Ice Engine Works makes a set of header blocks, bricks, whatever. They're awesome. I've used them. I don't have them. They're very expensive. But yeah, so that's the procedure here. Just gonna kind of work my way up towards the engine, and then we'll bridge that gap. Okay, so I think we can all agree that, here, I'll switch you guys here. I think we can all agree that Amazon's pretty much like the best thing ever at this point. And so I was able to actually order 304 stainless 45-degree mandrel bin, okay, on a, I'm not sure what they mean by 1.5 radius, because that would be like insanely tight, and there's, I'm doubting it, but 6.5 inch leg. I did that so I would have the straight piece I need, and then if I need a curve, cool, I have it. That's probably more relevant to the other side, and if there's any modifications I need to make down low. So I guess we can go ahead and pop this puppy out of here. I'm not going to talk about who this is from because that's irrelevant. Just search it on Amazon. Okay, so here's the dealio. There's the original, new piece, recycled, 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 recycled. So these all came together nice. Then you have a slight gap here because it was a funky angle, but it's tiggable. I'm happy with it. This used to be the inside runner, now it's the outside runner. Doesn't matter. It's roughly the same length. It flows really nice actually out of the port. So we'll just pull this primer out of here, zip it all the way around on each joint, and we're done. So I just have to go pick up another bottle of argon for my TIG welder probably tomorrow. For now, let's take this guy, because this is the primary tube for the driver's side. And so this one we're going to finesse it a little bit more. We definitely got to cut at this bend here, and we want to cut on the other side of the bend. Yeah, so we're just going to cut all the bends free. Not a big deal. Not at all. And we're back. And the good news is the material I was waiting for did show up today. Get my cellular device out of my pocket. Okay. Oh my god, I had a huge dinner for a birthday party, so I feel like I weigh 500 pounds. So, yet again, some really pretty and clean, nice stainless, 304 stainless again. So now we can finish up. This is like a really crazy bend that you can buy, so you get a lot of different angles and some straights. So there's definitely some stuff to work with here. This should be enough to finish out this driver's side header bank. So pretty pumped about that. So that is indeed our goal for this evening. I'm getting kind of a late start. I don't know if I'll totally finish. If not, this runs into a third evening of work, which doesn't affect you guys at all because I'll just put it all in the same video. Calm down, wind. God dang. So anyway, let's get a feel for some angles here, and then I guess we'll get to cracking. Okay, well, since you couldn't really see it, I'll just kind of jump ahead real quick. So, it literally only took this little guy, and it's one of the best fit-ups I've ever had on a compound angle. I don't know how, but it is, so that's awesome. So it is time to party with the TIG welder. Well, that's where I'm TIG welding. That's my TIG welder. I love that thing. I don't get to use it enough. Partially, largely, it's completely my fault. I just don't do many projects where I can justify using it. But, you know, I get a chance to TIG up an exhaust here, including headers. I'm gonna take it. There you have it. There's some headers for your stroker, Windsor, small block Ford. I will say I actually had a little bit of clips showing the finished headers installed on the block, and we'll show those again later throughout other stuff. The audio is completely gone on it, so the video makes no sense whatsoever. But I'll go ahead and show you this photo here. And that's essentially what we ended up with for headers. They look a little awkward in some places, but honestly, they work super duper well. And the primary lengths are still fairly equal, just as they were when I got them out of the box. So they've done a great job. I will also admit in this instance that my TIG welds are not very good. I have learned a lot since this point in time. And welding in the open air with the breeze and stuff over my shoulder like you see all the time in these videos certainly didn't help. But hey, I'm no expert, and that's why we do this stuff, so we can learn. So guys, do me a favor. If you really want to help the channel, the best thing you can do is, if you're not subscribed, reach down, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, let us know that you're liking what we're doing. More importantly, share it to your friends, man. The best way we can get the word out is by you guys. But no obligation as always, and I appreciate y'all watching this week's video. We'll see you in the next one.